So I wanted to check out this video right here. It's a video on Guild Wars 2, and the last 2 days we have been checking out a couple of videos on Guild Wars 2. It is a game that I've personally never played, but I'm getting more and more interested in maybe playing at some point. This is once again a video by Deployable Lover. We have seen videos from him in the past. I think this is video number 2, so we've seen one video in the past. This is number 2. The real reason Guild Wars 2 is growing in popularity. Let's check it out.
Hello, stream. This game has nothing on WoW. I think Guild Wars 2 has WoW beat currently, bro. Is what I'm trying to say. I think current WoW on retail in the classic state it's in. I think in like I don't know, man. There's so many versions of WoW. The player base is so spread. I don't really like retail. I think Guild Wars 2 is feeling nice, man.
So when I first started Guild Wars 2 2.5 years ago, I started as a ranger, and
So Guild Wars 2 is better than WoW?
it didn't stick. I ended up dropping the game, and I never made it past base game.
I will say, if I'm gonna play Guild Wars, I'm probably gonna play Ranger as well, because it just happens no matter the game I play. New World, I was playing, like, I was using a bow there as well. I don't remember what the class name was. And Arcade, another game that I've played a lot. I played Stone Arrow and Primeval, which if you haven't played Arcade before, it's basically a hunter class. And you can also mix and match classes there. So yeah, Stone Arrow is a hunter plus a tank, and Primeval is like a arcane mage hunter weird combo, like you can blink and stuff, but in a hunter spec. It's kind of cool. But in WoW as well, my first ever character was a hunter. My first character in Classic was a hunter. I feel like no matter the game I play, I always default to playing a hunter spec first.
And looking back, I think I just wasn't in the right mindset.
It's very quiet. I know. I've turned the volume up as much as I can without downloading some sort of add-ons or extensions. I think maybe that's just the streamer part being quiet, because usually his videos are not that quiet, so we'll take a look and see what happens.
To really appreciate it.
We have the ab on shoulders, dude. This was so massive. Oh my god. And it has, dude, look, it has this scarf. You know I love that scarf, Jack.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I do hope you're doing well. Over the past few...
Yeah, like whenever he starts talking, it becomes not that quiet again, right? It was only the streamer part.
Days, I've been noticing something pretty interesting happening across the MMO space, or more specifically, the Guild Wars 2 space. I've actually been watching a lot of streamers from all kinds of different backgrounds checking out Guild Wars 2 for the first time. I'm talking about creators coming from the likes of New World, old school RuneScape, World of Warcraft, and even Final Fantasy XIV. And regardless of where they're from, the one thing that keeps coming up again and again is this shared realization that, wait, Guild Wars 2 is actually something really special. And what's even crazier is this isn't just anecdotal hype. Guild Wars 2 recently hit over 10,000 concurrent players just on Steam alone. Now you have to remember, Steam only represents a tiny fraction of Guild Wars 2's actual player base. The majority of players still play through the standalone launcher, so the real number is actually way higher. Now there's no doubt that some of these players and this resurgence in popularity has come from the latest expansion, but I truly believe it's more than that, and this is why in today's video, that's what I want to go over. But that milestone on Steam is a big deal because it shows renewed interest and growth from a wider gaming audience, especially in the MMO space. People who might have skipped it entirely back in the day are finally giving it a shot, and honestly, the timing couldn't be more perfect.
Let's see here. Popular is relative. NCSoft releases its numbers quarterly, and it's always been profitable but never big. Do we have any of the actual numbers? Like if anybody can just try to find the numbers, I guess, for how many people play right now. Popular is always going to be relative. It really is, yeah. But I've seen increased hype about Guild Wars as well on YouTube and social media, and there's way more people playing Guild Wars 2 now than I probably have ever seen before, at least in my space. Like when it comes to World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy people, and now New World people as well, there's way more people interested in giving Guild Wars 2 a try. In my personal friends group as well, there's more people now talking about Guild Wars compared to a year ago. Nobody even knew what Guild Wars was almost.
Because while Guild Wars 2 has been quietly improving and expanding, some of its biggest competitors are, well, not doing so hot at all. Let's talk about the giant first. Let's talk about World of Warcraft, the once...
I was gonna say, before they put Magni on there, I was like, is this World of Warcraft, or is this just heavily inspired by World of Warcraft? But it's World of Warcraft, yeah. For me as well, by the way, if it wasn't for the fact that there's so many things to do in WoW right now, I would probably give the Guild Wars 2 a try. The thing is, in World of Warcraft, I'm currently super busy playing Legion Remix. In a week from now, like literally a week, we have a Midnight Beta. And after that, we have Legion Remix Phase 4, and then we have Legion Remix the Infinite Echoes update as well, giving us more stuff to do in Legion Remix, and then we're gonna have a Midnight Pre-patch, and then Midnight Expansion. I feel like for me, right now is not the timing to check out Guild Wars, but I will say I'm really interested in checking it out, if it wasn't for the amount of content available in WoW.
Untouchable MMO juggernaut. As someone who has spent a number of hours in World of Warcraft, also I must say that WoW today feels more fragmented than ever before. It seems today that they've just got too many versions going on of the same game. You have retail, you have classic, you have Season of Discovery, or you did have Season of Discovery, you have hardcore, you have MOP classic, you have Legion Remix, all of these different names that are coming out of the same title. It's honestly gotten to the point where I firmly believe nobody knows which version of the game to even play anymore. The community over there is split across half a dozen different experiences, and instead of feeling united under one massive world, it's just segmented. That fragmentation hurts community identity.
I feel like Legion Remix isn't really the same thing as it is in Mist of Pandaria Classic and all the classic versions, because over there you're playing on different servers. When it comes to Legion Remix, it's a time event, and for example, right now in retail, I can play Legion Remix while still being in the same guild as the other people playing retail, currently the Warbit Inn, and moving into Midnight. And after Legion Remix ends, I will also go over to the Warbit Inn, so we can currently be in the same guild and have interactive experiences. It is just that I can't do dungeons with them until I end the Remix experience, so for me the Remix thing doesn't really fragment the community at all, maybe slightly gameplay-wise for a certain amount of time. But in Classic, the point definitely stands, because there we have Anniversary, then you have Hardcore, then you have Anniversary Hardcore, because you had the old Hardcore servers, so like, you have Classic Era, the old Hardcore servers, Anniversary Hardcore, Mist of Pandaria Classic, you still have Season of Discovery, by the way, even though it's not getting any updates, so it's like pretty dead right now, but you still have it. There's a bunch of different fractures in the Classic WoW community, and that is not good. I think in my perfect world we have Classic Era, and then we have Classic Plus, and then in retail we have retail plus a remix. The remix to me in retail is not a bad thing. It just offers a different way to level up characters in the game, and at some point you do get bored of the end game and you go over to the regular retail, because you can basically end the remix at any point and go over to quote-unquote regular retail. The only problem here is, in Classic as well, I believe we should have a TBC era and a Wrath era, which doesn't really help with the whole splitting the community thing, because then we would have Classic era, TBC era, Wrath era, and the Classic Plus. So 4 different versions of Classic. That's still a lot. I don't know, man.
Massively, and it really harms long-term engagement, which ironically are some of the exact things that Guild Wars 2 does really well. Now, if we touch on another titan known as Final Fantasy XIV, which for years now has been the example of an MMO comeback story, well, lately player satisfaction is definitely at an all-time low with the game. Many players feel that the story beats in the latest expansion haven't really landed, the content cadence is definitely slower, progression definitely feels more repetitive, and even though the game is still beautiful and polished, there's a growing sense that it's kind of stagnant right now. I guess what I'm trying to say is, when the leading giants are stumbling over themselves and newer live service MMOs like New World, rest in peace, are literally shutting down, it creates a big vacuum, and players are asking themselves, where do I actually go that feels stable, fun, and worth investing time into? And that...
I have to ask though, for the New World thing here, is anyone really surprised that they're shutting down? I mean, after the recent update and the feedback on the recent update, I could be surprised, considering it came right after a positively received update, but I feel like the writing has been on the wall for the last year. maybe even the last 2 years. The latest update though did kinda shift that writing around a little bit, but then right after the update they're like, yo, we're not gonna update this game anymore, and the game just died, by the way. I think they lost something like 80% of their player base literally overnight when announcing that, which makes sense. It's an MMORPG. It's a place people come to invest time, and they want to know that their time is being respected and valued for a long time. It's like you don't play MMORPGs for a month, you play them for the long term, and when it's no longer, like when you know the end is coming, you just want to jump ship and go to a different ship.
Is exactly where Guild Wars 2 quietly steps in. You see, Guild Wars 2 has always been this silent but consistent underdog in the MMO genre. You will know that even if you haven't played the game. It's just existed as long as MMOs physically have. You put MMO out there, you hear Guild Wars. It's just a thing. It never really relied on monthly subs. It never forced you into time-gated seasonal systems. And it never really tried to copy the WoW formula that so many other failed MMOs did. Instead, it just kept doing its thing, building a rich world, supporting horizontal progression, and maintaining one unified version of the game. That's the key part there. One version of the game. Guild Wars 2 isn't split into Classic or Retail or Season 12 Hardcore, whatever else they've got. There's just one game, and that's the entire.
Yeah, that right there is basically what you said, right, Leah? I have to admit that if somebody wants to jump on World of Warcraft and never heard of it before, he or she will probably be hella lost, exactly. I feel like having different versions of the game is not bad when it comes to veterans of the game, because for me, for example, I can play Retail right now, and if I ever get sick of Retail, instead of going to a different game, I can then go and play Classic. And if I ever get burnt out on Classic, I can go and play Hardcore or Mists of Pandaria. It just gives you different options. Meanwhile, in Guild Wars, if you get burnt out of Guild Wars, you probably take a break and then come back when the burnout is over. So for somebody who's a veteran of the game, I don't necessarily think it's a super bad thing. But when it comes to a new player, if you look at WoW right now, you're presented with so many options, you have no idea what to pick, and you might end up picking none of it, because there's too many options. It's like if I go to a store, and I'm immediately, like, bombarded with options, I'm just going to be, like, confused and just run away, not picking anything. You want to provide people with 1, 2, maybe 3 options. Just as few as possible, but just be straight to the point. In WoW, there might be too many options. There might be.
Entire experience. Whether you're a new player in 2025 or a veteran from 2012, you're in the same evolving world playing together. That consistency has built trust among players and among developers, and now that the MMO genre feels more unstable than ever, that trust really matters. From the moment you step into Guild Wars 2, there is this feeling of freedom that's missing in so many modern MMOs. You're not railroaded into a mandatory story campaign before you can just go and explore. You're not told you can't go there yet because your level isn't high enough. You can just go anywhere, do anything, play how you want. And sure, some content is expansion locked, but the core game gives you a huge amount of freedom right from the start. That's something a lot of players from other MMOs are finding really refreshing, because let's be honest, the modern MMO landscape has conditioned players to think in seasons. You log in, grind out your battle pass or seasonal power cap, whatever else it is, get your limited rewards, and move on to the next reset. You grind pre-bis, you hit the raid, you get your bis, and you move on to the next season. It's a treadmill and it is really exhausting, and Guild Wars 2 doesn't do that. It's not chasing you with fear of missing out or FOMO. It lets you progress at your own pace, and that freedom is addictive once you've experienced it. Let's talk about PvP, because this is another area where Guild Wars 2 is quietly winning people over. In most MMOs, if you want to jump into PvP, you'll have to spend hundreds of hours grinding gear, doing storylines, unlocking traits, and farming currency to just be competitive. In WoW, for example, you're not just fighting players, in my opinion, you're also fighting gear disparity quite often. But in Guild Wars 2, you can make a brand new account, log in, and with minutes jump straight into PvP with equalized gear and stats. Now admittedly, it might be unrated, but it still gets you doing the things you want to do. Everyone is competing on a level playing field here. It's all about skill and knowledge, not about who no-lifed the latest raid for their BIS trinket first. That's something that MMO players have been craving for years, and Guild Wars 2 just gives it to you straight out of the box. It's been really fun watching a lot of the guys coming over from WoW and old school RuneScape and even Final Fantasy XIV, and watching them PvP and having to unlearn everything that they've been brainwashed with in those games, because Guild Wars 2 doesn't play like that. It is very reactive and active in the way that the PvP works. Watching them come out on top of certain fights, knowing that they've pressed the right button or CC'd at the right time or dodged at the right time, is really, really good to watch. And just knowing that it's not the gear that's doing that for them, they're getting a good positive experience because they're actually playing the game. They're being rewarded for their own skill, and I think that's important here, and I think that's what people are growing to love. Now, we have to mention here that Guild Wars 2 is a safe haven somewhat in an uncertain genre. We've definitely hit a strange point in gaming right now where so many live service games are either shutting down, scaling back, or just not even making it to market. One of the biggest ones, of course, being New World, is closing down. Other big titles have cancelled certain roadmaps. Studios are definitely pivoting to safer single-player experiences because the cost of sustaining an MMO is just too high. And well, players are noticing there is this growing sense of uncertainty that people don't want to sink thousands of hours into something that might vanish in 2 years. That's why a game like Guild Wars 2, which has been around for over a decade and still actively supported by ArenaNet, feels like such a safe bet. It's still receiving full expansions. This game, as far as we know, is not going anywhere. It's time tested, it's stable, it's trusted, and what's even more exciting is there's this underlying confidence among fans that someday all of this will lead towards Guild Wars 3, which is a true continuation of the franchise's legacy. So for a lot of players looking for a long-term MMO home, Guild Wars 2 isn't just a game, it's a commitment that they can actually get behind, that they can believe in, they feel safe in. Now, of course, I'm a big believer in busyness breeds busyness, so another thing fueling this surge in the community is, well, the community. It's people watching all of these streamers and wanting to jump on board themselves. As we've mentioned in the past, Guild Wars 2's community is definitely one of the more welcoming ones out there, and with all these new streamers and players jumping in, they're instantly met with helpful veterans, supportive guilds, and people genuinely excited to share the game's secrets and systems, to share their game with them. That kind of organic positivity spreads really fast, and with Twitch and YouTube visibility growing again, it's creating this domino effect. One creator, for example, checks it out, their viewers then follow, and suddenly there's this wave of rediscovery for a game that's been out the entire time. And what I love more than anything is it's not even marketing hype or flashy cinematics that's done this, it's just good old word of mouth, and well, it's working. So to wrap this up, Guild Wars 2 is growing right now, absolutely, and it has absolutely earned this moment. It didn't chase trends, it didn't fragment itself, it didn't panic and reinvent the wheel every few years. It stayed true to its philosophy, freedom, accessibility, and most importantly, community. And in a time when players are tired of FOMO systems, seasonal resets, and constant monetization experiments outside of the gem store, let's just say that kind of authenticity stands out more than ever. Guild Wars 2 isn't perfect, obviously, but it might just be the most player-respecting MMO on the market right now, and I don't say that lightly. So to anyone that is new to Guild Wars 2, that is coming in, streaming the game, playing some PvP, coming from other games, welcome in. As many of you know, I started my journey a mere 200 hours ago. I am very much a fresh face for Guild Wars 2, but it's definitely somewhere that I call home, and I absolutely adore checking out anyone else that covers this game in any format or capacity. So yeah, just have a blast and have a good time. But ultimately, if you've been on the fence, or maybe you played a couple of years ago and dropped it, this might be the perfect time to jump back in and see what the buzz is all about. Because right now, it seems like the rest of the MMO world is waking up to something that Guild Wars fans have kind of known about for years. This game has always been special, but it's really cool that other people, including myself, are now starting to realize that. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, all of that rubbish, and let me know down below in the comments, what's your experience with Guild Wars 2? Are you brand new? Have you played for a while? I'd be really keen to sort of check some of that out and have some conversations with you guys down below. As always, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.
Okay, that was, yeah, like you said, pretty cool video. It's the second video that we see by this content creator, and the other one as well was really good. Once again, video by the Playable Lover. I'll give you guys the link in chat, and if I turn it into a reaction video, it will also be in the top of the description of the video as well. Sounds like a good game. Yeah, dude, I think so as well. The reason why I'm watching these videos right now is that the first video that I saw by this guy really got me hooked, and I really want to try it out. The only problem for me is that there's so many things to do in WoW right now that I don't know when I would find the time, because, like, it's an MMORPG. If I'm going to try Guild Wars, I don't just want to try it for a day or two, it's going to be a week or 2 or 3 thing, where I just fully deep dive. I could play some WoW as well in between, but when I try out a game, I fully blast, okay? We're talking 12 hours a day for a couple of weeks at least, and just giving it a solid try. But it sounds really cool, and I want to try it out. The only problem is I don't know when I would be able to try it out, and it would have to be during a hype time, when there's a new expansion coming out, a new patch, or just anything to be excited about, right? For now, I'm playing Legion Remix, and beta for Midnight starts in a week from now. Then we have Legion Remix Phase 4, then we have the Infinite Echoes update, then we have player housing in WoW, and then we have the Midnight pre-patch coming out in January, Midnight itself in February. There's so many things coming out, dude. Yeah, it's too much in WoW, like Midnight beta in 8 days, that is way too many things, but I want to play Guild Wars as well. It's crazy. Either way though, very good video.